Good afternoon, Mount Moriah. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 9 says, "See, I am doing a new thing." Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8 says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore." I pray that you and your families are doing well, that you're practicing social distancing, you're washing your hands, you're eating well, you are sheltering in, all of those things that we should be doing at this time. Brother Dante Parker told a very, very funny story on yesterday about his son, Tyler, who was working on a very difficult math problem. And he successfully, through much struggle, completed the math problem. And after its completion, Tyler threw down his pencil and said, "I can't wait to go back to school." Well, I can't wait to resume some of the normal activities that I usually do either. So I feel Tyler, and I'm sure that all of you feel Tyler as well. But we must be patient as we wait for this pandemic in our area to go downward. And so we want everybody to remain safe and sound. So that is what we also wish for us as we think about regathering here at Mount Moriah. We are planning for your return. As you can see now, I'm in the children's area, one of the church school rooms, one of the rooms in which our children's church take place. And before the coronavirus pandemic broke out, we were remodeling this room. And so hopefully by the time our children get back, this room will be totally renovated and refurbished. And so I have been intentionally going to different places within the church from week to week to remind you of this place that we call Mount Moriah. Even though we will be able to gather together soon, we realize that our gathering will have to be done in a non-traditional way. And so we realize that we probably, or we will have to resume our worship of 2 services. We will also probably not have a choir in the choir loft, or will not have a choir in the choir loft due to social distancing. We probably will have to wear masks. And there are some other things that I'm sure that we will have to do as we gather together again in worship. We are making preparations for that day. I had a conversation with Trustee Vera Howard on today. She is the president of our nurses ministry, and I asked her to do 2 things. First, I asked her to gather nurses and healthcare physicians or professionals of our church together and to have them to come up with a plan when we do resume our normal activities that will keep us safe and sound. The CDC sent something out today that talks about what will be the restriction when it comes to churches when we are able to gather together again. And then I asked Trustee Vera Howard to gather the nurses to talk about coming up with some type of health plan, some type of educational plan that will talk to us about how to stay healthy, how to eat healthy, how exercise is important. Because if we look at the statistics, we all know that this coronavirus is affecting our community, the African American community, in record numbers. In the District of Columbia, 50% of the coronavirus cases are African Americans. 80% of the deaths in the District of Columbia are African American. In Prince George's County, it is said on yesterday in the Washington Post that Prince George's County comprises the most new corona cases in the state of Maryland. And so we see again that the coronavirus is affecting the African American community in unprecedented ways. And we want to better educate our congregation on how to stay healthy so that we might increase diabetes, heart disease, etc., etc. So we're looking forward to hearing from our nurses ministry. In addition to that, technology has kept us going, and the advances in technology that we have made over the last 5 weeks, we want to continue to do, as well as to continue to grow and nurture. Our dream team had placed within our strategy on last year that we would go to a internet streaming service, and for a couple of reasons I was hesitant to do that, but once this pandemic arose, we were ready to do it, and I want to thank Brother Dante Parker and our audio-visual ministry for making preparations and ensuring that we are able to stream live. Just because we were not necessarily doing it prior to the coronavirus pandemic, that is live streaming, does not mean that when we gather together again that we should go back to not doing it. What we were doing is that we were recording our morning worship service at 11 o'clock, and about a half an hour after the benediction, persons could access that service on our YouTube channel. But since we are streaming live, I want us to continue to do that, so I have asked Brother Parker to ensure that we be able to do that when we resume our worship services again. So what that means is that he and Deacon Terrence Edwards would have to upgrade some of our wiring in the sanctuary so that we can stream from our main camera. It would also mean that we would continue to use the streaming service that we are currently using. So that is some very simple upgrades we need to do, but ultimately in the near future we will have to replace a device in the sound booth that will help to make our streaming services better. So I told Brother Parker I don't mind asking if someone wants to make a donation for that device, then please do so. That device, from my understanding, will be about $5,000. It's not something that we need right away, but it will help us to better be able to stream to better internet quality, video quality, as well as sound quality. The reason why this is so important is because this is the era that we live in today. For example, on Sunday, our worship service that we streamed from the sanctuary has 595 views, and 191 persons shared that service. Yesterday, in our Bible study moment, we taped on yesterday. As of today, before I came downstairs, there were 191 views. So there is a whole lot of traffic through the internet. I do believe in Hebrews where it says, let us not give up the habit of meeting together. So I do believe that the best way to worship is relational, when we come into the sanctuary to worship together. But we're living in a time when we need to have options for worship too. And one of the ways in which we do that is through streaming. And so we do not want to go backwards. We want to move forward. And we are in the planning of doing that. I'm excited about the feed-in program, our partnership with Save the City. They came today and picked up some food and distributed food to persons in our community who are in need. This is a valuable ministry for Mount Moriah at this time. We're not able to receive a shared distribution, nor are we able to receive a distribution for our food pantry. So being able to feed and partner with Serve the City has been a blessing. And I want to thank you for bringing canned foods and water and other food supplies to the church so that those who are in need can be blessed. So I do encourage you to continue to support us, support Mount Moriah through your online giving. You can give through Cash App, PayPal, or Givelify. You can mail your tithes and offerings to the church, 1636 East Capitol Street, Northeast Washington, D.C., or you can have your bank to send it. You can drop off your tithes and offerings on Sunday from 9:30 to 11, on Monday from 2 to 5, on Tuesdays from 4 to 6. And I'm sure you're getting accustomed to how we are streaming. We're streaming live on Sunday at 8 o'clock through our Facebook page and our website, 11 YouTube. You can use the prayer line number on Sundays at 8 a.m. On Tuesdays at 12, we will have our noonday prayer meeting, and we will broadcast live Bible study at 6 p.m. through our conference call line as well as our Facebook page. Let me go back to Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on our Zoom, and on this Sunday on our Facebook page we will go live with our church school, and then at 12 noon will be our youth church. Trying to keep all of that in my mind. There is a lot going on, but we're trying to keep you informed through email as well. For those who are not getting email, please call the church, or if you're just not connected to the internet, please call somebody that you do know to get information. We're praying for everybody. I ask that you continue to pray for Mount Moriah as we move into this new season of ministry. Again, Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, but we are changing exactly as we speak. So we're going to do the same thing when it comes to ministry. We don't want to be caught behind, but we want to be ahead of the curve as we have been throughout the history of this church. This church has always set precedent for this city and the Baptist life, and we want to continue to do so. God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you.